I've seen a lot of games over this summer, from AAAs to indies, and from classic shooters to bizarre narrative experiments. There's been a lot to go through. I have, however, picked out what I think are my 25 favorite games. Starting with the big AAA games. Number 1. Doom: Dark Ages. Doom: Dark Ages provides an extension of the excellent rebooted Doom series. All I wanted it to do was provide me with more over-the-top radical demon slaying, and it looks like it will give me exactly that. I'm happy we're doing a prequel to reboot the equipment set that we have to work with. The shield in particular looks like it could be a lot of fun to try to figure out all the ways where it could be useful in battle. Number 2. Perfect Dark. I've never played the original Perfect Darks, but I know that they are console FPS legends. This new reinvention, however, is more Deus Ex Human Revolution than it is GoldenEye. From the gadgetry to the parkour to the combat, this looks to be a big AAA immersive sim set in the near future that I didn't know I needed until this very moment. Number 3. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. We didn't see much more of the over-the-top action from the sequel to the beloved cult classic Space Marine. I still ate up every minute I could see. There's something unique to the 40k style of power fantasy. It actually connects with Doom in a way. You are not fighting equals, you are a machine designed for killing. This game promises to use modern technology to allow us to feel the types of 1 versus 1,000 battles that are the cornerstone of Space Marine lore. Number 4. Unknown 9 Awakening. The Unknown 9 is a new IP from Capcom. That already has my attention. It looks like an interesting action-adventure with an imaginative world on its own, but Capcom is making this a multimedia connected universe from the get-go. There are already 2 novels, a comic book, and a narrative podcast that all provide different points of view and different stories in this universe. I'm a sucker for a good, convoluted, connected universe, so maybe this will be able to provide me some more of that. Next, we have some games from smaller established studios and some new big studios that we haven't really seen much from before. Number 5. Atomfall. Atomfall is a bizarre new science fantasy RPG made by the designers of Sniper Elite and Nazi Zombie Army. I love to see them branching out with this new quasi-apocalyptic 60s Britain alternate history setting. We don't know much about how the game will play out, but we do know that it has arresting visuals, an intriguing world design, and probably some high-quality action. Number 6. Clair Obscure Expedition 33. I'm not normally a JRPG, turn-based combat kind of guy, but this game still caught my attention. The remarkable world design and French art apocalyptic setting has me very intrigued. I also enjoy the kind of overwriting that can happen in a JRPG, but here we can get a French spin on the drama. This game immediately caught my attention as something a bit different than anything else, and I'm into that. Number 7. Where Winds Meet. I've had my eyes on this game for a long while. Back 2 years ago, they talked a lot about the life sim style RPG elements. They claimed that you could do things like be a doctor or an orator, but we haven't seen that in this year's trailer. Instead, what we see appears to be high-end Souls-like action. If they manage to bring that level of Souls-like action with a more open-ended RPG and light life sim mechanic, even if it's a little scaled back from their initial intentions, this could end up being a very unique game. Number 8. Ballads of Antara. This was a big surprise to me at the PlayStation conference. The game appears to be a big, bold, story-driven action RPG. Multiple player characters, a big involved story, fantastic looking world, and some great looking bosses made this one really stand out. Number 9. Flintlock Siege of Dawn. I've been watching Flintlock for a long time. Its combat looks competent, and I've heard interesting things about it being very rhythm-based, and it's got a great little style going on. But what gets me really excited about Flintlock, it's that it's pulling from non-standard fantasy elements. This is not a medieval world, but one steeped in the technology of the Enlightenment era. The fantastical elements look beautifully interweaved with it, and I hope exploring this world and its story will bring me some great satisfaction very soon. Next, we have some narrative games that really stood out to me. Number 10. Back to the Dawn. This game looks like it's going to add on RPG and story elements to the escape-focused gameplay of simulations like The Escapists. This has the potential to really give context to your actions, connection to your environment, and it seems like an excellent time to marry RPG and simulation gameplay. I love a good genre mashup, and this one has promise. Number 11. Neon Blood. Neon Blood is a cyberpunk detective story, and it looks to provide that dank city atmosphere that we love from things like Blade Runner. Its gorgeous 2.5D look and animated vignettes that we see in the trailer have really captured my attention and imagination. I'm excited to see what comes of it. Number 12. Wanderstop. On its surface, Wanderstop is a cozy life and farming sim from the makers of the Stanley Parable. Its central conceit is that you are an adventurer who is dealing with some mental after effects of adventuring. I expect this game to have a unique take and bend some genre conventions, but I would expect nothing less from anyone who had worked on the Stanley Parable, and I expect to be eternally surprised by what I find in Wanderstop. These next games captured my attention through their pure strangeness. Number 13. Building relationships. There's not much I can say about this game. You are a building, talking to other buildings, in a short-form narrative adventure like a short hike. It's so utterly bizarre, and yet entrancing. Its pure cognitive dissonance makes me want to see what more strange secrets lie within. Number 14. Soul Cesto. This is another genre-bended game that has me intrigued at the moment-to-moment gameplay feel. It's a dungeon crawler with its very own set of rules that appear to be more like a puzzle game. It has a weird, spooky vibe, and its interface boggles my mind. I think it's tapping into the same kind of intrigue that initially brought me to Inscription. Number 15, UFO 50. This is a ridiculously ambitious project. Rather than making a game, it is a collection of 50. These games are representative of the games released across several generations of a console that never existed. This means simulating technological changes, like changing from 8-bit to 16-bit, and also simulating changes of ideas over time, as in sequels to a series. I'm very excited to see what the available range of gameplay types and ideas are in this game when it finally comes out. These next games grabbed my attention for their dedication to simulation. Number 16. Ale Abbey. Rather than making a simple beer brewing game, Ale Abbey tantalizes with a robust medieval simulation. Placing the game at an abbey immediately brings us into a time and space with its own problems. Beyond managing the beer brewing process, you actually have to manage your monastery. And more than just manage the generalities of the monastery, the game promises to include a political level of appeasing lords, befriending other abbeys, and handling bandit encounters. That's an ambitious batch of simulating for what could have been a very straightforward management game. Number 17. Kingdom Come: Deliverance 2. The original Kingdom Come: Deliverance had the audacity to make an open-world RPG entirely mundane. No magic powers or grand conspiracies, and the player never becomes a superhero. Just a dedicated vision to the history of Central Europe. This sequel promises to expand upon the vision of the first game, bringing us to the big city and all that entails without resorting to bringing in any fantastical elements. Number 18. Streets of Fortuna. Streets of Fortuna wants to be the ultimate city simulator from the point of view of a single person. It's the kind of open-ended RPG that would come from a marriage of Dwarf Fortress, The Sims, and Mountain Blade. As a matter of fact, none other than the co-creators of Dwarf Fortress have called this out as the most ambitious city procedural generation they have ever seen. Number 19. Seablip. I'm going to be honest, I'm a sucker for ships. So if you allow me a survival-type ship game with ship combat and crew, I'm just going to be all over it. Simple as that. Inevitably, some strategy games grabbed my attention. Number 20. Tactical Breach Wizards. Tactical Breach Wizards is the latest brainchild of Tom Francis, designer of Gunpoint and Heat Signature. This game features small-scale, tactical turn-based battles, not unlike an XCOM, except you're going in with guns and magic. His previous games have been incredibly effective and satisfying immersive sims, with the rules of the game being incredibly manipulatable and open to player innovation, and I expect nothing less from this. Number 21. The Sumerian Six. This tactical stealth and magic game looks to draw from recent hits like Blade of the Shogun, Desperados 3, and The Shadow Gambit. I love that these new stealth tactics games have built up a following, and this one looks to have an interesting combination of magic, stealth, and pulp storylines. Number 22. Grit and Valor. The theme this year was small-scale tactics. Grit and Valor gives us a diesel-punk World War II where the Germans won and you need to deliver a superweapon across the campaign map of tight real-time tactical battles. This game offers cool mech customization, and it looks to be plenty difficult for fans of the roguelike style campaigns. Finally, a couple horror games also caught my eye. Number 23, Zoochosis. Zoochosis underwent an interesting evolution for me. When I first learned about Zoochosis, I was freaked out by that giraffe. It had some interesting and strange business sim type gameplay that is common in some types of horror games these days, and some uniquely revolting creature design. But what really bumped it up there for me was the inclusion of your manager in some of these later trailers. Somehow that calm and collected man was scarier to me than just about anything that happened to the animals. Now I just gotta play to figure out what that man's deal is. Number 24, Slay the Princess. This is cheating, since Slay the Princess has been out for a while. I had heard about it, but wasn't exactly confronted with just how arresting its form of storytelling was. Now that I have been confronted by it, I can guarantee that I will eventually end up playing this game, which isn't something I can say with confidence for most horror. Number 25, Slitterhead. Finally, we have Slitterhead, from one of the great horror maestros, Shinji Mikami. This game looks so weird. Bizarre creatures, surreal urban environments, some manner of possession feature, and cool horror action combat. I don't think we'll have ever seen something quite like this, and that always gets me excited. Well, that's my list. How many of these are on your personal best of show? Did I miss anything you think people need to hear about? Comment down below. Like this video if you want me to keep doing this kind of stuff, and subscribe to see more from the channel. Bye-bye.